Hi, I'm Jenny Rae, the Managing Director of Management Consulting, and do I have a treat for you today? I have been spending time in the depths of Glassdoor looking at one-star reviews. And today I'm looking at McKinsey, and some of these really sting. You know, McKinsey is an amazing place to work, pretty much one of the most coveted places in the entire universe for people to be employed. And some of these, you know, there's truth in all one-star reviews, but let's just go through them because some of these are amazing. This one, interesting. As soon as I was identified as voting for Trump, it all went downhill. This person's recap of what actually transpired seems kind of disturbing, probably not actually what went down, but anyhow, I was asked many times who I was voting for in the 2016 US presidential election. And as soon as I finally said Trump, I was isolated, singled out, and eventually ejected from McKinsey. Okay, that's definitely not legal, but also I'm just really interested in if that's actually what went down. Discriminating against me because of who I voted for. If that really happened, you should file a lawsuit, but anyhow. Also, their pros were a lot of great things trumped by one bad thing. Gotta love it. Another one, not worth the branding. I worked at McKinsey & Company full-time less than a year. Pros, good brand name, met some cool colleagues. Both pretty good pros. Cons, sweatshop hour for low pay, obsessing over extraneous details in PowerPoints when the actual content was fluff. That is true, by the way. And then terrible expense policy. I don't know where they worked having an expense policy where McKinsey in comparison is terrible. You can basically expense anything in your life and have it passed through. So I'm not even sure what's going on there. All right, let's look at this one. Worked at McKinsey & Company full-time, more than 3 years. McKinsey is a decent name to have on your resume, but that is probably the only pro you'll get from this organization. And this is real harsh. This place is terrible. The work is terrible. The lifestyle is terrible. The management is horrendous. The pay per hour is no better than minimum wage. Zero flexibility, zero understanding, zero respect for outside responsibilities. They will lure you in with promises of personal development and impactful work, in quotes. But it's nothing more than a lie to sucker the next batch of recruits that they can churn through to make more money for the partnership. Avoid this place at all costs. There is a reason, by the way, why people only stay at consulting firms for a couple of years. That right there is basically the description of what goes on. Anyhow, kind of loved it. Pros for this next person. Good brand name. The only thing I got after working at McKinsey was the brand name on my resume. By the way, everybody at BCG said that they love the pay. Everybody at McKinsey says they like the brand name. I mean, if I had to choose between the two of them, I'm just saying, you know, you might want to think about that. But anyhow, cons. I had a terrible experience at McKinsey. I thought I had been doing a great job because I got positive feedback all along, especially about my analytical skills. However, when it was time for my performance review, I was asked to look for another company. Yikes. As my problem-solving skills needed improvement. When I said that I never got that feedback while I was working there, which, by the way, if you ever get that feedback, don't say, I never got that feedback. Say, awesome, I'd love some specifics about what I can do to improve. What they said was, okay, but that doesn't change anything. If we had told you that, you wouldn't have improved anyway. Yikes, that is a real scary situation. But I'm guessing that it probably wasn't just one thing that this person was dealing with. Here's another one for McKinsey. If you like to travel, it may be good for you. The first pro that mentioned travel, kind of interesting. Also, people judge you all the time. Oh, these are the cons, by the way. People judge you all the time. You have to think twice to ask a question. A lot of traveling, okay? I mean, if it's a pro or is it a con? I don't know, maybe it could be both. It's very existential of us if we think about that. A company where only extroverts can survive. Oh, that's sad. No stability in your life and no work-life balance. If you want all types of people to join, please value introverts as well. I feel like a lot of these are real therapy for people when they write them. I bet they feel better, you know? And then here's another one, a 1-star. I've been working at McKinsey & Company full-time. Positive outlook, green. CEO, green. However, doesn't recommend, odd. Pros, nice life. A lot of travel. I mean, I think if you can say that you have a nice life, that's a pretty great review. But this is a 1-star because long work time, busy, very tight schedule. And the last one. So this was not the McKinsey advertised. The pros, the work environment, snacks, catered lunches, and work events. I mean, for anybody, you guys, that's ridiculous. Salary. Okay, amazing. Benefits also. Then cons, lack of care to individual professional development. Disorganized, not a word that I've heard used about McKinsey, but interesting. Poor communication at many levels, no transparency. Make your own McKinsey is a company line that could not be further from the truth. That is kind of funny, actually. Mechanical, you feel like you're a cog in the machine. Hierarchy and lackluster management with poor communications skills. Not communication skills, communications skills. Anyhow, all these reviews, you guys, as you kind of keep going through these, I could keep going. There's even more. There's actually more for McKinsey in the 1-star reviews than some of the other ones. Ultimately, it all comes down to the fact that you work a lot. They advertise that before you go in. You work less than banking, but still a lot. You travel, fair. You know that before you come in. You're expected to travel 100%. And the environment, and McKinsey in particular, is very work hard and play eventually, but later in life. So just know what you're getting into. You should definitely not just read the 1-star reviews, but some of these have a lot of interesting truth in there that talk about the reality of how you actually pay attention to what's going on inside consulting firms and also how you know how to succeed. Have fun.